chefe da Umbanda. Em nome do caboclo, Guaraci e Oxóssi, em nome de todos os guias, protetores e orixás.
Yes, and I will start now. Welcome to Mary Klein Festival, to Kulturdonnerstag, to our 4th edition now. It's really crazy. The festival month is going strong, and yes, we have a 4th edition of the Kulturdonnerstag panel talk. And yes, tonight I have some very special personalities sitting with me. Pamela Owusu-Brenyah on my right side from Berlin. Welcome.
Ja, thank you. Hallo.
Hallo.
Hallo München.
Ja, genau. Hallo Pamela. Schön, dass du da bist.
Ja.
Thank you for your time. And on my left side is Rafa, also from Berlin, aka DJ Rafush. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, big applause for you too. Yes, thank you for your time and that you spent some time with us on the stream. Also, welcome our viewers. Hi via YouTube and our audience, our very lovely audience for tonight. Yes, I'm super happy and also excited about this topic tonight. We spent a little bit time before and we chatted already a little bit, and yeah, we just said, okay, we have to switch a little bit in our brains because the talk will be in English. For you, it's not that difficult, but yes, I say it every time. I apologize in advance when I make bad language mistakes, but I will try my best to do it in English a second time tonight. And yeah, it's as I said, it's another panel talk we have here. We had really important talks and topics yet, and tonight we will also talking about an important topic. In our event, we talked about, or we said it will be about cultural spaces and white privileges. So, and at our dinner before, we talked about white privileges, and I think I should specify my wording a little bit, also for our viewers, and to be to be aware of that we all be aware of the wording, and that we all on the same page what I mean with white privileges. And but first of all, I want to share some details with you all why I chose this topic in the first place. And in my personal experience as a DJ, as a feminist activist, in all these years I worked also as a curator, as a promoter, and so on. I was mostly working with other white people, and especially in organizational structures. And even the fact like that I even didn't think about that circumstance, that I always work with white people, or especially I have to say with cis male white people, was one of the main reasons I wanted to do this topic. And yes, I'm a white privileged person, and what I mean with that is that I'm part of a system that rewards whiteness and that rewards male-dominated structure that we live in, and our society works like that. And yeah, this is what I mean, to specify a little bit what I mean with whiteness. It's a privilege. You said it before. It's a invisible backpack you have with the right passport, with the right skin color, for example, that you don't see, but you have always with you. And yeah, this may specify a little bit what I mean with the topic tonight. And the other reason is there are hard facts out there that prove an underrepresentation of Black, Brown, and Asian people in organizational structures. I mean with that they're not in a powerful position to decide, to give finances, to give money, and or to run businesses. The most of them are male and white. This is my own experience in the last years, and I'm super interested and excited what you think and what your view is about the scene, and through your projects, what you do, what you think, and what your view is on that, little bit provocative thesis I just said. We have not just like a racist problem in front of club doors, but we have it also behind those doors in the structures of clubs and of cultural places. So and this is the main issue. What I wanted to talk about is the organizational part, but we will come to that. First of all, I wanted to introduce you both, and I really am glad that you found time in your really tight schedule. I know that both of you have less time, and I want to introduce to you Pamela and Rafa. Which kind of projects you are doing in Berlin, and of course out of Berlin, as you sit here. Pam, let's start with you. You are a curator, a DJ, a festival organizer. You're a lot, and you are also a founder of the community platform AFROxPOP.
AFROxPOP.
AFROxPOP. The X stands not for N, right? It's
no,
not
it's
for X.
Mm.
Yeah.
Multiply.
Yeah.
Pop.
And you're a jury member of the Music Board Germany. You were before. And
Music Board Berlin, actually.
Yeah, you Music Board Berlin.
Mm?
Is it also?
It's actually
Music Board Berlin. It's not.
Yeah, it's only functioning within Berlin. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know why I write it down false. I'm sorry. And we sat on a panel together last year at the Pop-Konferenz in Stuttgart. It was really fun. And we also saw a movie from you. You also make movies now.
My first documentary. I only did one.
Yes,
So,
it is a documentary about female music scene in Ghana. It's called Adikoro, Women in Music Ghana. You should definitely check it out. It's a really, really nice documentary, and I enjoyed it so much and talked about it with you. And AFROxPOP is a community platform to create visibility of African culture in Germany, and aims to give talented artists from the African diaspora and continent a stage. This is what you aim with this community platform. And you also did a festival, or multiple festivals, right? In Berlin.
Actually, if it's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Super important for me was not only to show African culture, because we have a lot of African festivals here, but for me it was a bit important after spending like 3 years in Ghana to show also like the contemporary side of African culture, because when you speak with people here, they always have like a certain view what Africa is, how Africa sounds. It has to be drums, it has to be like, a certain look, a certain thing. And when I went to Ghana and I lived there, I really experienced like this very eclectic and dynamic atmosphere in Ghana, where you actually crosses African culture but also pop culture.
Okay.
Because we always often feel like Africa is a place where nothing changes, people are always poor, nothing is proceeding. And I feel like when I was there, I was so like overwhelmed with what people are doing, and how actually the new wave also did not make halt in Ghana, in Africa or in Ghana.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very important when I came here to show people like what's actually really happening on the continent, where we actually are, what music-wise, food-wise. And I started in Berlin with the African Food Festival Berlin, and then I founded my platform AFROxPOP, which is kind of following organization because I left the group, and then I did it in Cologne actually and in Hamburg. So
Oh, nice. Okay,
yeah.
in multiple cities in Germany.
yeah, because I was born in
Nice.
Hamburg, so I choose Hamburg and Düsseldorf. Cologne is because I grew up in Düsseldorf. So yeah,
This
that's
is
mainly
nice to
to
bring it
add.
more, into the Colonian.
Because I
party
mean, Berlin
scene.
has so much already,
Yeah,
you know, and it's
yeah.
also important to like show in other parts of Germany what's actually really happening out there.
Nice.
So yeah.
Nice. And that, yes, leads me to my left side, to Rafa, aka DJ Rafush. You're also a music curator, you're a DJ, and you're a graphic designer in Berlin, and you founded the fresh-born collective Yokoyoko. Pronounce it okay? It's Yokoyoko Squad, right?
Yeah,
You're a
I'm-
squad.
Yeah, actually it's only yokoyoko. We for the Instagram we had to put something, so
Yeah.
we had get the name. Then we found yokoyoko squad because our aim is to create a community. So it's not only about our collective, but we aim to collaborate with people. Like we see urgent needs to raise, to increase Black participation or BIPOC participation in the club culture scene and the cultural scene in general. And our goal is to create not only evening events, but also like this, like panel talks or facilitating workshops or mentoring or maybe very basic like issues that I had when I moved to Germany, like about werden and all these things, you know, that when you get here, that's completely different from a country that you were. So to organize a bit and to create a space where people can also connect and exchange, and maybe out of that come like new collaborations like this, like I'm meeting you here and I meet Pan, and in a bigger scale.
Yeah.
I had the feeling that in Berlin it's a bit, you have this a lot of small collectives going on, and
Doing their things. promoting
people
stuff.
don't really know what the others are doing. You know, I'm always
bubbles.
finding out something new, and I would like to somehow connect everyone, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, nice. And that's why you've also founded the Yokoyoko Collective, and you also are a member of Belladonna. It's also a
Exactly.
collective, right?
Yeah. It's like this
You're
is more like it's
multiple
like it's more a more fluid collective. Aiko is also part of it.
Yeah.
Like we start with a radio show at Kashmir Radio, and then
Berlin,
from that we were invited to do a curation for Fusion this year, and mainly we have been doing the radio shows, and this is the first curation we do all together.
Nice.
And it's
This
a
is gonna be
Flinta
nice.
collective of artists
Yeah.
and sound artists, DJs, musicians, a bit of everything.
This is so nice. It's going to be so much fun at Fusion this year. And you're doing it at one of my favorite floors. Can I tell it, or is it a secret?
No, I mean I think we can tell.
It's
Calcutta.
at Calcutta. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's next week, nah? Fusion.
Exactly. Our curation goes from Saturday 2:30 a.m. until Sunday 10:30 a.m. So
Nice.
the whole night and then the whole day.
Yeah.
And Aiko is closing the.
It's so nice. It's one of my favorite floors at Fusion. Yeah, wish you all the best for the curation there. And you just basically said it, what you aim with Yokoyoko, and that you want to show that Black culture is celebrated, and you want to celebrate it in all its plurality, sorry, and but at the same time deconstructs prejudices and build awareness. This is also a huge part what you aim for, right?
Exactly. We would also like get into awareness workshops for club staff, for security, because I think it's not only about who's attending the event, but also the whole team I notice sometimes people there are not really well prepared to deal with some situations that come up with like racism or sexism or homophobia or whatever kind of discrimination. So we would also like to get into that. We have a lot of ideas, so
Nice. Let's start.
It's a step by step.
Yeah, it's step by step. It's huge topics to prepare or to handle with. I can tell it on my own experience with the collective I am member of, with the Uhr Kollektiv. It's a process, but I think it's so beautiful to see how many collectives grow and how many queer feminists or feminist Flinter collectives grow in the scene, and they all aim for diversity, but also for awareness in clubs to get on the structural and organizational basis, and this is also a huge point what I wanted to discuss tonight, the organizational parts and the structural parts behind the scene. This is what the guests mostly don't see when they enter a club. Okay, what's behind the scene, who is sitting in the offices, who is sitting there, who is organizing all those things, and they only see a small part. And of course diverse DJ lineups are super important. It's not the main topic what I want to discuss tonight, so DJ lineups is also big part, of course, and I don't want to like talk some topics small, but we have to like circle it a little bit, because it's a huge topic, and I wanted to focus on the structural part. And I'm super interested in how your experiences as festival organizers, actual event organizers and festival organizers, curators as you are, what view do you have on the scene? What view do you have? What are your experiences in working with colleagues, with male colleagues, and and for example, I don't know. Let's start with Pam. You made 3 festivals, as I learned now.
5 altogether.
Five altogether. Thank you.
5 big ones, and then small, also talks. We did a lot of talks.
I mean,
and
how
parties too.
Oh yeah, but you have to to ask a little bit more specific. You did the AFROxPOP. Was not a festival as itself.
It's a platform actually, and a festival.
Okay, so this is what you did 5 times.
Yes, so
Was
2
always
times
the
African
same?
Food Festival, and then 3 times AFROxPOP. So
Oh,
but it's the same
but
concept.
it's the same concept. Okay.
Kind of, yeah.
Just to
It's
make
a
it
lot.
clear. Yeah, it's a lot, and you have a lot of experience. And how did that all start for you? Like, how did you? Because it's a game which you enter, you know, like a woman, especially, where you enter it, and then you are confronted with issues. So how did it started for you?
I mean, everything kind of, I would say my journey, because I mean, I studied political science, always thought I will work in like development field area, but everything kind of changed when I went to Ghana. I mean, I was born here, I grew up here. For me, white structures was always something that's just how it is. You know, I also didn't question this when I was young.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say, I mean, I've always been more like a confident girl.
Yeah.
So I never really had to face too many problems, obviously,
Yeah.
to a certain level. I think, I mean, in the past 10, 12 years, things have changed. Also, like the whole discourse has changed, where you are getting more aware of that things are actually things that you always thought are normal are maybe not so normal.
Yeah.
So when I went to Ghana, and I lived in Ghana 2-3 years, that's when I first time also like really discovered and experienced my own culture. The first time that I lived in Ghana, kind of.
Okay.
So when I came back, I started as a DJ. You know, I started with AFROpop, African popular culture, and I have to say, as a woman at the beginning, I had some advantages also. I mean, also I'm an African woman, so when you come here, and I was booked, people over Facebook saw that I was DJing so much in Ghana. They were like, I got then these calls or messages, would you be interested to also like play some African music at our parties?
Yeah,
So I was invited to very like commercial parties, to hip hop parties mostly, where like Engtans and all that. So I DJ'd actually there, and I started to like really kind of, I would say, like promote music first. First I only really saw me as a DJ.
Yeah.
Like I love the music. I wanted people to like also experience like the different kinds of music that we have, that it's so danceable, that we have so much good music coming out. So I was very like excited. And later on I met my two former partners.
Okay.
They were already in the event scene, and through a friend who did also a festival, like kind of inspired me, and I told him, I was working with one man, like, look at this, we should do this here in Berlin. Like, people need to really get to know African music, African food, and let's do festivals. So I kind of at the beginning didn't do it myself alone, but I did it with a partner who was also experienced in doing events.
Okay.
So I think I learned at the beginning, a lot from him, and also the confidence. But what I experienced is when we started to look, for example, for locations, we're talking now about 2015, 16, and we were like telling, we want to do an African food fest, and everybody was looking at us like, what is that? What do you mean? And then when we asked, what location could we look at? Oh, why don't you go to Yam? Everybody we talked to said, go to Yam. And I was always like, can African culture only happen at Yam? And we were like really focusing to enter spaces where African culture in this sense has never taken place. So we went to the first one, was in Haubentaucher, then Altstrahlau, like in the center of Berlin, regular places where you usually don't experience this, and that's how we kind of started our festival. At the beginning, no one really believed in it, but it actually became like huge successes. We had like 6,000-8,000 people at our festivals, and then like people kind of, actually had a different look at, okay, cool, actually. And so, and we had a very diverse also audience who came, of course, Africans, Germans from the diaspora, which was really nice. So in this sense, it was for me like more, this doesn't exist, and I'm more a person, I want to take things by myself. I'm not like, this doesn't exist, why does not someone else does it? I'm like, okay, no one does it, hey, I have to change it, so let's do something. And that's how like this whole kind of idea came together. Money was always a problem. We all know it, when you do festivals, when you look for fundings, in 2016, what is African pop culture? Like, what is African music? Like, no, you cannot get funding. So no one, to all the different fundings institutions that we went back then, said like, no, for that we don't have funding. So we did it by ourselves, and we were lucky enough that so many people kind of came, and then we could like always like do it till today. So in this sense, which was nice that we are in a group, 2 Africans, or African from the diaspora, his wife was German, like we didn't face in this sense like structural barriers. We actually established something, and like a lot of people also wanted to collaborate after they saw actually this is like a huge success. And also like we played African electronic music, we played African pop music, like we played hip hop. So it's like we brought really different kind of people together, and kind of experienced this Africa a bit different. But for me, I have to say, there's one side, of course, I wanted to invite everybody to like experience it, show like what the beautiness of African culture is. But for me, it was also like to really make space, also especially for artists. I was more into music, like because for artists who had not the chance to maybe perform at certain festivals, certain events, there wasn't so much space for people who didn't make Afro-pop music or African music. It was also like only specific places where they could kind of perform. And I had a lot of friends who like did so much great music, and I was like, please come and perform at my festival. So I wanted to kind of do something for ourselves, like where we can all come together, experience our music, music, our food, because I mean it's far away. You know, not everybody can go to Ghana, to Nigeria every year. So some people have also not been, although they had African roots, been to the continent. So I wanted them all to come together, but I also wanted to show them like how diverse it is, that they can also be proud about what, you know, about our culture, because I feel like when you grew up here, what you always learned is like that, yeah, Africa is poor, African people are poor, and you know, so it also does something with your consciousness and self-consciousness. So I feel like let's celebrate invite everybody
like in a positive way. So
in a positive way, and explore yourself, like find a space where you can be yourself, where you can bring your parents and all that. So in this sense, I would say I mean, as a festival organizer in general, you always face some problems. I think, you know, even mainstream, even Summer Jam, you know, back in the days when I started, or Splash when I started, you know, sometimes when you come up with new ideas, there are always people,
barriers, like,
what is this? This can't work, you know? And then you just have to go about it. So for me, this was just normal. Like, and then working maybe as a curator. I mean, now I work for Pop Culture Festival. I'm also in you could say in a wide structure, but actually it started with Universal, because I was at A&R with Universal Music for the Africa project. But that's actually where I was in a very, I mean, I was lucky that I worked in the new label of Universal AFROxPOP, which was only signing African artists, and I was the A&R for it. But at the end of the day, there I faced a lot of things where I sometimes wasn't so easy, you know, because, I mean, people went in to like, I mean, because African music was then trendy, and that's why Universal kind of decided, let's go there, not because they understood it, not because maybe they didn't believe in it, not because they understood it, but more like, this is trendy, let's go. Let's look for new areas that we can actually conquer. And, you know, I'm always very excited, and, you know, I started, and I was like, but then, I had moments where I was a bit frustrated also, because, I mean, it was a pure business, but I always, whatever I do, I'm very political, you know, for me it's like the love of my culture, the love of people. And for example, when we did like writing sessions, 8 producers, only male, songwriter, also only male. You know, I was going into the Sony office, and I'm like, I looked at the schedule for a week. The only African was the artist, and the rest was like everybody from here. So I kind of shaked, and I was like, but there's no women, and there's no African producer or African top liner, and but we don't have any. And I'm like, you know, I really had to brief. I'm like, but I'm here, and I know some, so let's like also bring them to the table. So this is when I really kind of had, moments where I wasn't so happy. But you know, I had this moment when I wanted to give up, and my friend said something. I mean, we're also coming to this like, Pam, no, you are in there, you're in the structure. You can change the structure from inside. You know, don't quit. And I was thinking about this. So you know, I actually stayed, and through small topics or small talks with my boss, you know, I could at least a little bit do things that they did not have on their you know, on the plans, on the agenda. But I mean, this was, I would say, in all my experiences there, I really experienced things where, and also I was the only woman. I worked in this Africa project. All my counterpartners in Germany were all Germans. They had no idea about African culture, about African music. I had no one to talk about, really. The good thing is we had an office in Nigeria and one office in South Africa, and these were my partners also, so sometimes I could talk with them. But because this was a project which was really like on the highest level, I was the only woman. I came new into the music business, and everybody in this room or on all the talks were male, men, all have been in the music industry for a long time, and they were only like, I only talked with all the bosses, like the biggest boss from Universal Africa, then here from Germany, like, so I always feel like the girl who just as a DJ entered that big room, and you know, and I was, this was where I really felt a lot of pressure, but I still had a nice boss. I have to say my boss was also black, Joe Shialo, which I loved. He was always like, Pam, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, you're a woman, you're new here. Just call everybody, call the boss, doesn't matter. And then when we had sometimes meeting, he said like, don't call me, call her. I have no idea. She knows everything. Oh, so he really gave me
the
a lot of,
and that's nice. Yeah, and sometimes it's somebody like him or her. It doesn't matter. That just needs to be there to give you the
Confident
voice and
or
confidence to
role
go to
models,
this
you know, even to
step
have a boss who's also has African roots, make something. You're not alone.
Yeah.
You don't have to explain everything to everybody, but yeah, there's someone who at least looks like you, and he's also the boss, you know. So I'm pretty sure I didn't face. I mean, a few things I didn't face because my boss was just also African. So you know, there's certain things people couldn't say. Yeah. So in that structure, I had a lot of. I learned a lot. It also made you stronger. And I mean, in general, the music industry. I mean, we don't have to talk about it. It's just so male dominated.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
it's like I feel like it's like BMW or like automobile industry where like all the bosses, they're only men, they're only white men, and it's
And sometimes they put a woman for the camera or for the quotes there. That.
But in this position,
they don't
especially
have to
also in
be
Universal,
responsible.
I mean, there's no woman
Yeah.
who's on a top on a head of any of the labels. So it's only male, and this is like, I mean, in general, the music industry there. I know people thinking it's also changing a bit. I mean, I started in 2016, 17. Things have changed, but when you look behind the scenes, like, I mean, it's still the same. We're talking about so many things. Women still earn less.
Yeah.
Women don't get a certain position. Women face so many, like, also, sexism. You know, there's so many things that you also and then even also a black woman, you know, it's also a different level again on top, you know. For example, my festivals, when I looked for new vendors in other cities, and I always said like, I'm doing this. Like the view, how people looked at me, like as if they were thinking, as if you are doing this. Like I had a lot of, but I mean, I grew over it because I knew it from the beginning. But there's this certain view that I always got when I said, I do this African food festival, and do you want to be part of this? And I mean, they'll ask me a lot of questions, and no one really believed. But the days when they were actually at my, and I love this, always at the end of the evening, all these men came to me, and they're like, wow. I didn't expect
you
that.
did all this?
And so I always kind of also enjoyed that moment when like, this girl, okay. And then like, and I love it because there was also a Tunisian guy. He also told me like, wow, you did a fantastic job, and I didn't believe in it, you know. So
it's a kind of satisfaction.
Like I feel like there's a few things you have to prove. You know, it's for women, for a black woman, it's not easy. You always have to prove yourself.
And
no one believes you when you say
absolutely.
something, but when you do things, and you have to be extraordinary good, that's when you people. So I'm a person, although now I talk a lot, I don't talk. I like to do things. I want the things that I do to talk for myself. Like I'm whatever they think.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's super interesting that you had like an inside view in the music industry, because that's what most people don't know, how it works, or that it still has sexism all over, and that it's super racist structures, and they're super male dominated. You know, that's like what the people don't know when they just buy music, and because how do they know it? They can't have an inside view. So it's super interesting what you experienced and what you just shared with us.
Maybe
and
one point. What I also realized is everything's about money.
Yeah.
Even though
It's
if
an
they
industry,
give a woman
Yeah.
like a spot or a contract, or if they give Africans or whatever, it's connected to money. It's like, okay, you can make money with this, so let's give her the space, because you know, when it's, for example, also with women, I mean, they take capitalism like of your body, of your view, of your look.
Capitalize it.
Capitalize
Yeah.
it. It's always like the
profits
discourses
you
that I
can
had
bring,
is
you know?
always about okay, with this we can make profit. Like it's not. Sometimes I feel like it's not coming from the heart. It's always connected. Like we can make money with this. That's why we go. It's not we want to change something politically. We want to give women more space. We want to give because we believe that we need a society which is just for everybody. It's always like, okay, she's in, she's good, she's trendy. We give her because we can make money with it, and this is something.
This is so frustrating. It's what many women face in this industry, in the structures. Yeah, that they capitalize it, then you can make money, you can make profit, as you just said, with her presence, or not with her
skills or what
and I just have a quick note from what we always said here in Mary Klein Festival, that one day it's better that we don't need Mary Klein Festival anymore. That would be a really nice day.
Status quo.
Yes, because it's that we don't need such feminist festivals anymore, and that's enough, and that it's equal. But that's in the future. But what's your experience? We just talked about what inside view Pamela had in her work in music industry at Universal Music, and I initially asked her what experiences she had as a organizer, as an event organizer. What did you experience in Berlin so far, as you just when you entered structures, like as an organizer?
I have to say the things I organized was always in a smaller scale than Penn, so was really in I would say in a more aware bubble or scene, so I didn't face many issues, but of course you see the structure, you see, like, you get to a place, you see, okay, who is at the door, what color, and then you start to see the hierarchy pyramid, and then you see how white and how male dominated it's getting. But a part of that, I never had like a face-to-face problem that I could say, that's because I am a woman or because I am black. What I do have in mind is, if somebody book me or ask me to do something, I do think, is it because of my skills, or is it because I'm black and I'm a woman and now it's trendy to have a token in your team?
This is what we just talked about earlier at the dinner initially, that it's what you just said, that it's trendy, or it's we can use it in our monthly program.
Exactly.
That we have a BIPOC party, for example, then this collective fits in our program. Let's do this, but it doesn't change the structures behind.
And that's where I think it's the problem, because when if I want to create an event and I want to have maybe a performer that it's transsexual, and then I do think, is this space safe for me to invite this person? Not even from the public, but will this person get the right treatment from the staff or from the dorm, from the booker? So it's always where I sometimes then I step a bit back, because I'm not 100% sure that I can give this person a nice and enjoyment evening or an event. So and that's where this idea came from, to do awareness with staff and club and I mean curators or all kinds of organizations, because it's not only about us, the public that attend the events, but it's also how we are received when we arrive to perform or to organize. Or
I think that's a very important point, that when you you depend on the structures, also on the building structures of a club, and you find it, and you have to deal with it with your own concept, with your own event, what you will go inside with. And this is very important or very interesting, because sometimes it's not possible to provide safer spaces for staff or for performers. And have you experienced so far club owners or something feel about the awareness concepts when you go inside? Have you done this like a consultative thing for them?
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
We're still on
Yeah.
the planning.
Okay.
On the planning. But I do see a urgent need, I would
Yeah.
say, in
Yeah.
the club scene for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like I think they don't take issues seriously as they should.
Yeah.
Very often, like if I go and say, this guy is harassing me. It was just a joke.
Or
okay.
even you have to leave the club.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Or maybe, somebody
that you
touched your
experience.
ass and then you freak out and you were the one that's maybe
Yeah.
taking out. Or if it's, I can imagine if it's a gay person or if it's a trans person, then things could get even worse.
Yeah.
Or a queer person.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting because we talk so much about it, or we are in a bubble where we talk so much about that. I actually, especially also the last 2.5 years during the pandemic, that I always thought like things have changed. But then now since everything has opened up, I went out and I went in, I was like, this is not a safe space here. Like,
Not
I
even
feel like
tried.
not even like,
that-
I don't know
yeah.
if these like mainstream club owners or clubs, if they ever heard about this. Like, I don't know. But I was like, wow, my not experience, but my feeling thought like we are somewhere else already in this conversation. But when I went out, like, no, and I was like, because when I was young, for me this was normal what I experienced. But now that we have talked, I'm also older now, but I go into a club, I'm like if I would be now a young girl, 18 years old girl, like this is not a safe space here
No,
at all.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's also interesting, how in certain bubbles or certain communities this feels like, oh, we are already
Everyone
there, but
thinks like this.
but then you go out into the world and you see like it's actually not the case. And I also ask myself sometimes like how can we also get these mainstream or male dominated or like the club industry on the together on the table or at the table and like really talk about a safer space for people to like to be in like. It's
Yeah,
a far away. I feel like we are not very far.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, we're not, and I mean, this is also what I was leading tonight in our conversation. What can we do in the future, and what can we all do together to change those structures? And the more I'm thinking about it, I think that yes, it sometimes people just should be replaced from their positions. You know what I mean? Like it's or I don't know, use their power. I don't know what's right. You know what I mean? It's like use their power to give voices to underrepresented groups, or just get replaced by I don't know a member of a underrepresented group. I don't know what's better.
I think these structures are a bit old and it didn't catch up with the topics of the time. I have the feeling Berlin in the mainstream clubs are clubs that already exist for more than 10 or 15 years and still the same people being had. So I have the feeling they didn't really catch up with these topics that our generation is so important for our generation.
It's a bit more.
But not only that,
Yeah.
that as well. And I think people have to it's a self-reflection. They have to stop and think, okay, what is my role
What's
here,
my position
as
here?
my position as a white privileged male in this society, how my whiteness in a metaphor of power, how do I stand there, where do I stand, where is the black people, or where is the LGBT community around me? Or I think people, they don't really, if you are white and you come in a place and everyone is white, we don't really check. You don't feel this. It's the normality. You see yourself everywhere. You see yourself in the magazines, in television. So they don't do this click. And I think for me it would be one of the first steps. This self-critical, of this critical whiteness. Okay, what does that means?
I feel like did not catch up. We could say that, but I also feel like we have to see like it's power and it's money. I mean, these positions that you have, why would you give up the money that you earn? Why would you give up the power that you have? Like, I feel like it's people don't want to. there are a few people, yes, they are maybe a bit longer in the struggles, they're older, they're not in the new discourses, but they're also like, they live from it, you know. And I feel like it's, you know, when you have a good job, a nice job, like, why would you give it up? Like, why would you give your...
Sure.
So I feel it's so much more, and I don't even know how to change it, because just replacing it, you know, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult.
It was
I
just
feel
a
like
provocation from
where we could have
like-
started, for example, now that we had Corona, is we had so many, and this is also, I mean, I'm also part of Music Women Germany, and we want to make women more visible, we empower, we educate, and we also try to like bring people together. And there's one thing that we have been always talking, or we are talking about a lot, you know, the past 2 years there were so much state fundings. Like, even if the state doesn't, I mean, look into state structures, like they're also very the same and very like strong, rigid, you know. And we had the chance in the past 2 years to say, you know, every festival, every club, every, like, people who depend on state money, where women give 50% taxes, men give 50% taxes, the state could have said and changed something like, if you want to have the money, which comes from everybody, this and this and this is what you need to have. You need to have a festival where your lineup is 50% women, where your staff is 50%, where certain topics, and they didn't do anything. I feel like we missed a very important chance, as a state, to make sure that at least the money that comes from all of us is distributed equally, like, you know. And so I feel like the state has to take steps. I know people, so a lot of people are against quota and all that. Yes, it's true. And then there's always but maybe then the wrong person who's not good enough gets the job or something. I'm like, as if every man who's in that position is there because he is the best. Like, it's a joke. There's so many people have jobs, roles, and they're not good enough, you know? So like, if 220 or what women also get maybe a job where they're not good enough, which I actually doubt, you know, okay, then maybe at some point we're equal, and then we can, you know, at some point start the conversation from there. But let's at least get all these women where they think they are not just getting because they look good or whatever. Like, let those people like first get their job and then see what we can change. Because women are actually, when they have positions, women take their roles very like serious, you know. So I feel like
So you said that the state has to be more responsible.
I feel in the cultural, because I mean the past 2 years, culture and club industry was super dependent on money that was paid by also us. I feel like the state has to come here and say, like, if you want that money, which is 50% by women, hire 50% women.
That is a great solution.
Because in the private sector, you know, you cannot really tell people maybe to, you know, fine. But I feel like, I think you missed the chance.
That's it. Because when you get and there was a lot of funded money, cashed out during the pandemic, also to clubs and everything. We received it ourselves. For a project, it was there were no further questions. What is done with the money?
But also, you know, you have all these. I mean, you have to fill out so many forms.
The barriers
they
are
ask you
huge,
so many questions.
like,
but why can they not also ask or say you need that amount of women or percent of women to get that funding?
That's
you know,
true.
It would be
Applause,
so easy.
applause for that. That would be so. Yeah, that would be so easy.
At least for the past 2.5 years, when you need our money.
and then also be strict with the money. You know, like okay, then you don't get it, or you just get one little amount of that. And that's a wonderful idea. We should get back to Neustadt Kultur. Grüße gehen raus. So you said it's more like an intern process for people to reflect. Like, this is the starting point. You know,
I think like in this example, maybe then the people that are giving the foundings, they have to come to this point that they will be aware. You know, they have to reflect themselves. So maybe we can, if they don't self-reflect, they will never be aware to do this equal and fairly distribution of money or funding or...
Sure, because it just reflects how our society works, you know. Like
exactly, the structure, it's everywhere. We were born into a society that construct and give us these values. What is good, woman, they have to do this, and they're not capable to do this. Black people, they are worthless. And we grow up, everyone grows up into this structure, and everyone has to self-reflect their own privileges. Where do I stand here in this in relation to this person or to this person?
And we just talked at dinner about money issues in our cultural scene, and we talked about that. We do a lot of unpaid things in collectives and feminist collectives. I just talked about it last week with representatives from collectives that activism is always underpaid or it's always unpaid. Let's be honest, and and it's also a change that we should come from women in themselves, that they ask for more money. It's not that I say it would solve all this problem, but I experienced myself that over the years, I gained a lot of experience, and I can say now to a promoter I won't do this curation without that amount of money, And sometimes projects or sometimes curators then just refused me. Then the project was done, and so I think it should be both, the structures should change, and we all should change the system, but the system also lives inside of us, and if women don't start demanding, better word, for their good quality work, absolutely equal work with their male colleagues, it should be starting there as well, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can more talk about myself, but the things that I did, is you do it with so much heart. You do it for the love of the things that you do, and that's why I think a lot of women maybe are also get paid less, and then you're afraid to actually, demand the amount of money that you'd actually deserve, but also first to know the worth or the demand or the worth that you have, because
that's
for me
the first
it was
step,
also a long time. I remember when I was approached by Universal to if I want to work with them. I had this talk with my friends. I mean, it's also a few years ago, but I'm so lucky. And they looked at me and they're like, "What are you saying? You are lucky. You went to Ghana, you DJed there, you know the whole scene. You are here. You did a festival. You do this and this. You are not lucky. You are there because you deserve to get that job. So it's you first have to. And I never saw it like that. I always said the festival. Oh, I was lucky that I did the festival. I was like, and then some people really had to tell me that no, you do, and the things that happen to you is not just luck. It's just because the things that you do that you then also. But it's a process. It was for me a long time.
It's an internal process, absolutely.
Even today, it's sometimes not easy for me to say I want that and that amount. And I feel like also male DJs or in jobs, men are so confident in just saying, "Oh, this is the amount that I want," But people are like, "Oh, wow, where he get that confident?" I remember also when I started DJing, and for a long time I didn't say anybody that was DJing. For 1-2 years, it was difficult for me to even say I'm a DJ, And I was like, I'm still not good enough, I need to have the transition right, and then I came back to Germany.
Me too.
And I was in this club. I was always the only woman. This was 2016, 17, also 15, 14. And I was in this club, and all these guys who were like, I'm a DJ. No one did transition like me. I could DJ. And I was still not confident enough to say I'm actually DJ. And for men, it's sometimes so easy to just I'm that and that,
because that behavior is rewarded in our society,
And I think they are also raised. How society raised women and men, and even if your parents try to build a strong woman, still what you get from the outside puts you in a certain level where you think you're not capable, or I don't know. When I was a kid, I never thought about that I could own something, or I gonna build a company, or that was like never in my head. And like only since a few years that I started. No, actually, I'm capable to do this if I want, and I can reach this. But
Because
you
what
are
you
not
don't see
you are not
sometimes you cannot
raised
imagine.
to occupy this
Yeah.
position. And
Yeah.
if you don't see, you don't feel represented.
Yeah.
So you just see male DJs like headliners or curators or club owners.
Yeah, but I think this is changing a little bit.
Yeah,
you know?
for
We
sure.
experienced that at Mary Klein Festival as well. That I mean, this festival is in his 9th edition, so I'm not a part of it 9 years, but I like the last 4 years, and I'm seeing more female DJs now behind the decks. I mean, my colleague Alice can talk about it more because she works as a booker. But yeah, I definitely see a change in the DJ lineups. But you know, that's what I don't want to talk about DJ lineups. No, I'm just kidding. It's also a part of our of our scene, and yeah, a big part. And but I also wanted to switch again to the organizational part and to the structural part, because this is still so. It feels for me like it's so hard to change. You know, we see the change on the DJ booth now because other flinter artists are taking care of it. That the lineups are more diverse.
Because they build their own structures.
Yeah.
That's the thing,
Exactly.
you know?
I think we are not changing. I mean, we are changing, of course, but we are building. Like that's what I
we are
feel like.
building. Yeah.
If I like yokoyoko, I build this because I saw a lack of. So okay, if no one is doing it, I do it myself. The same as are you with food.
Yeah, sure. And but it's always that the women or people that feel near female gender. It's like in general. They have to do it by themselves. You know, it's always this grassroots building from the bottom up, and you always have to like beg and everything for money and so on and there are, when I have to picture it, like the cis male white person is standing here and gives the money, like Neustadt Kultur. Sorry for Neustadt Kultur, I don't have to say that much, but the state or public money, and or club owners, or you know, like they have the power. So it's
also bookers, when you said
Oh,
you have
bookers.
now female, I mean,
Yeah.
that's how also I feel like change has to start.
We have so the number of female bookers is so small. I mean, it's crazy. Like so yeah, the that's what my initial point was also in our conversation, that maybe we have to change, or maybe sometimes it's also good to replace somebody. You know, that's what I meant with replacing. It's not that I want to kick out some man. Maybe I want that. Yeah, I have to check. But yeah, maybe the self-reflection of those our male colleagues, the white male colleagues, will start, and they will.
Maybe they don't even have
Use
to
their
give
power.
away. They can just share and invite.
Or if you have a new
female,
position, make
like,
sure that
maybe
you
I
hire.
co-book with
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah, this is also a good idea. Co-booking, and just like invite people to give to use my own power to give other people power.
Yeah.
It's like power sharing.
Yeah. Because I think also people think that like you are only racist when you yell at somebody, or you are aggressive, or when you are homophobic. And it's also about, if I have a company and I have 50 employees and I have none or only one minority person, that's also being discriminating in a. So you are also being racist in another way. So being racist or homophobic is not only the one that go and punch or throw or do that. This is also part of it. And I think people say, no, I'm not homophobic. But then, okay, you go look into their company, and then it's like It's like, come on, man.
But I feel
really.
it also starts a lot with education, because now also that I work with a music board, I mean the ways and the effort that music board as an institution goes, so that the colleagues or the employees are also like educated on things on inclusion, on diversity, also about like respectful communication. You know, we have so many workshops, so because it doesn't come just from the air, you know, falls on us, and now we are all woke and you know inclusive. But it's a process that, and you know, and you have to start it somewhere, even if you start small, even if you once invite someone who like talks to your colleagues, goes through these, you know, even term techniques and all. I mean, there's so many things, you know, change sometimes starts so small and it takes a lot of time, but we kind of have to like go these steps, these small steps. And I feel like education, there's still a lack of like really education, but then also conversation, you know, because there's also, of course, that's what I feel sometimes in these bubbles, in these intellectual bubbles, where they all throw with these term techniques and now everybody has to understand. And there's so many people who just don't
it's a mess.
Also class, you know, it's also, you know, so like try to make it also invitative in jetzt ist auch
welcoming.
You know, that I mean there are different ways to see how we can go about it, and then also that not only brown and black people have to do the work and educate, you know, because it's also different when a white colleague talks to white colleagues and say, actually, you know, this and this is not, we shouldn't have done this, or we need to go other ways, you know. Maybe it's also sometimes it's also a good way, you know, to actually get people's attention, as if we are only sitting here like you have to do this and this and this and this, you know.
Absolutely, because it's the same behavior which is bad in this whole system, you know, like do this and do that and do this and that.
And
like
I feel like that's why some people
down.
feel like so like also overwhelmed, but also like that like imperativ, also dass man that's English German, also dass man das so alles auf die Leute auf einmal so rüberwirft und jetzt müssen die das auf einmal auch so machen, sondern it has to be like also a discourse and find different ways to get all these people maybe. Because you know, I don't know, the past years I feel like we are sometimes in a bubble, and when I leave Berlin and I go to Düsseldorf, or you know, even when we're here and you have conversation, like people don't know what you're talking about, you know, and we take it a bit for granted, because also we went to university, it's also classes, you know, you know, to think that everybody needs to have that language, needs to know everybody, everything, and so I feel like there needs to be change, yes, but we also still haven't maybe found the way how we can include more people to like also take about the change.
And it's all about education. I think that's a very good point. Educating children, of course, like when you as we said, the point of growing up, but also educating other colleagues
or your friends, you know.
And even if just in your closer circle,
this
your
is,
family,
you know,
your friends.
Friends, you know, when my friends sometimes say something where like, you cannot really say it like this, then, you know, find the right tone, talk to your friend, and like, you cannot say that and this. You should, you know, have a discussion with your friends. Because it starts really, I feel like it starts really little and at home, you know, also, or in
like
your closest circle.
Yeah.
And that's, for example, what like also non-white people, not non-white, like white people can do, like even if it's your dad or your mom, you know, talk to them in a way. I mean, you know them best to kind of get them to the table to like to listen to you, and so that they also understand that.
This is a very nice point, because I wanted to ask you what can supporters do, what can like allies do, what can they do, and this is a very important point, that they can talk and they can educate, and they can not just educate out of I don't know, and do a panel and stuff like we do now. Just go small steps and start with your family and your friends. But this is also very important point for me, that I wanted to do this panel. You know, this is also a starting point. We can't just discuss the whole huge topic, because it's very, very huge and has so much to do with our whole society system and everything. But it's also a starting point, and we can be open further discussions and solution finding and everything. So. Yeah, and we have talked over an hour. It feels like 10
already?
minutes or something. Yeah. I just received the sign.
Yeah, I would maybe still like to.
Me too. But
Yeah.
we have a lot of space and a lot of time
Yeah.
to talk and to chat about the topic. And for the last minutes, I wanted to, because I always ask it my guests here, what your wishes are or what your demands are. It's not always wishes, because wishes sometimes a little bit passive, like also what your demands are. But it can be wishes as well. When you know it, you can just start.
I
What's your
had
wi-
just
yeah.
to formulate in my head a bit. I think my demand is just that my existence as I am, it's I don't know how can I put it, that it's that's not only accepted but respected. That I have the right to be here and to exist in this way, exactly how I am. In the gender as I am, with the skin color that I have, and without any without any discrimination, or I don't know, sometimes I think I could be somebody could be aggressive towards me just because of the color of my skin, and that for me it's such a crazy thought that just because of that something can happen to me.
Yeah.
So I think my biggest demand is that I can just walk everywhere without to, and that I'm allowed to getting not everywhere, but I don't know. I have already problems like in Portugal, where the border cop didn't want to let me in and was saying that my visa was not, and all my white friends passed with the same visa, like this kind. So that I can come and go and exist as I am without any hindrance.
Thank you for that. And this is the demand. I would say. Thank you.
Yeah, difficult. I mean, there's
So many. I know
There's
it's
so
a
many.
it's a difficult. Last week they said the same thing, but she Paulina was thinking about 2 wishes, maybe, or 2 demands. Maybe you can.
Also
two.
definitely what you said. I in general want people to be more like tolerant, more open, because this is something you see a person, your thoughts start, or your head starts thinking, and you put that and that and that on that person, although you haven't talked to her, you don't know who she is, what she's done. Like, just I wish I'm also trying this, trying to be like, just in general more open to people and open also to different realities, and kind of embrace that it's okay that we are different. We don't have to be all the same. How boring would it be if we would all look the same, wear the same, eat the same, smell the same? Like, just being like differences or being different is something beautiful, and that we should kind of accept this. This is one wish. And then on the other side also, I mean, I'm also a bit tied to go to all these panels and talks, because sometimes I just want to be me. I just want to be. I don't, because I mean, there's so many struggles that you in general have, we all have, but then on top, also always thinking about like all this racism, that you have to fight for this, that you have to fight for that I sometimes wish like I don't need to go again somewhere and again talk about my experience, or talk to people, tell them what they have to do. Like, that's just something that I wish. And I wish that we have quotas, to be honest. Because I feel like, we have been talking about this, and I know that people, it will, but I feel like all the talks, I mean, how far have we really come? Like, if we really look still at like numbers, like, I mean, I feel numbers are still at festival station, you have like between 10 or 14% of women. Actually, it's I heard it's even getting less, like we are like going backward a little bit.
Really?
So in some areas, in some areas we are really going backwards. And also with like salaries, like women still earn so much less, like, and I'm like always hoping that it will be better. Like the past years that we have been talking about, we see it's not actually getting better. So I feel like we need to take some action. And even if we say like we do and look at it for 5 years, let's see what it has brought to society, and but I feel like I'm also a bit tired of talking. Like also, I'm also a bit tired of talking about racism all the time, you know, because it's just there. I face this all the time, and the time that I'm not facing this, or I mean, it's not that it's all the time present, but I just want to be, I would just want to feel myself. I just want to live. Sometimes I feel like I just want to live, and
I understand it, and I invited you because I like you so much. And it was such a nice panel.
I know. You know, I was recently asked, even by Music Board, Pam, do you want to go on that panel? And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Tired of
I'm
panels.
tired. If you invite me for talking about music, about African music, about music industry, I'm coming. If I should again talk about my experience, I'm not coming, you know.
Yeah.
But with you, I also came because I like you. That's why I'm here. I like
Nice, thank you so much. I hear you and I understand you. 2 weeks ago, author was sitting here. She was reading in her book, and in the ending, she said, she experienced, or she wrote actually in her book that black people are always seen as activists. Like she's always been asking, like, what is your experience like as a black person? Like, do you want to say something here? Do you want to say something here? You know.
Yeah.
And she's also asked a lot of things, and sometimes she said, okay, I just want to go there and just be there and enjoy my
and
time
listen to other
and
people
listen
talking.
to other people talking as well, and don't want to be always asked as an activist because she don't feels like one. You know, it's like Zuschreibung on Deutsch. On German, So, sometimes it's a character she plays, so she feels like
and
that.
I also know, I have to add this, I know I'm here not only because I'm black and I'm a woman, but that's also what we talked about, you know, when we all talk about this tokenism, that we're only there because we look like this, or, you know, we face these, the things that we're facing. Like, sometimes you as a person forget that you are actually invited also because the things that you do, like that you deserve to be here, you know. Sometimes I feel like we are only, you can be lucky to be here because this and this, and that's why. But so I'm here also, but I had to I also had to learn this, because for a long time when I was always asked and invited, I was like, okay, they're only taking me for the, you know, for that experience, but actually I am here because I've done things, you know, I've done things well, and I deserve to be here, you know, because you start doubting yourself when you always get these requests are. So I feel like not forgetting also like why we're here, what we do, who we are, and we are more than just skin color. I feel like when I leave my house, I feel like a human being. I feel like a woman. You know, because I mean, people forget I don't see myself all the time. You know, I mean, I'm looking into your face. I look into white faces, and it's not that I'm always reminded I'm black. I feel like I mean, I grew up here. You know, I've never seen anything else. So I feel like always since I'm a child, I feel like everybody, and people should not forget that we are like actually like everybody. It's just the color of the skin, you know, and not more. And I feel like it's so crazy that the world goes, that there are so many people or structures close to us only because we have like, only because
racism is a very stupid thing. It's basically stupid.
I mean, the color, the skin color was made a Thema already from the moment when you were born. It is political, even if you didn't want to, like you were born into that, and you have to.
Maybe that's also a demand, like not being, as you said, just be yourself, just live.
Let people also allowed to be themselves, just a human being, just a woman, you know. So
Absolutely. That's a nice ending sentence or whatever. I don't know. My words are missing right now. I thank you both very, very much for this very interesting panel talk. I give you a warm applause. Thank you so much. And we have the chance now to talk further, to chat, and we can hear some music.
No questions?
Do you have any questions? I'm so excited for your DJ set that I almost forgot our lovely audience. If you have any questions, just put your arms in the air like this. Whoop, whoop. And
it's okay. After also what I said, it's okay to ask questions. Not that you feel like, oh, maybe not. It's all good.
But if not, I think it's okay. Then I say thank you so much for the audience here and for you both, Rafa and Pam, and for our viewers at YouTube. Thank you again for watching. Next Thursday we have our last Kulturdonnerstag, and this won't be with guests. It will be like a thought experiment we will do with the audience, like interactive, and we built a perfect club. It's it's a future. It's a Zukunftswerkstatt on German, and we build an utopia. What a perfect club should look like, what it should have had. No, okay. What was it? English, I'm losing it. Maybe some structures we also have in current clubs. Maybe we can use. So it will be a fun game, I think, or I imagine it like this. So I hope some of you will join next week on Thursday. Also the viewers maybe join live here at Harry Klein. And next week the Mary Klein Festival is over then, because June is over and it was 1 month. It was crazy month. And but we have a lot of club nights and also our queer parties on Wednesday. So there's still a lot of program, and I'm really looking forward to it. And now I'm looking forward to your DJ set and to our chats here at Harry Klein. And now I'm finished. I'm done. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tschüss. Achso, ja, in 10 Minuten muss ich anfangen, oder?
Alles
Punkt um
gut.
10 Uhr, ne?
Auf.